Welcome to the Pearls of Wisdom podcast, where we mix business, law of attraction, spirituality, and well-being with great guests and phenomenal stories. You'll hear hints, tips, and up-to-the-minute information on digital communication from an expert in her field. Pearl has some wonderful individuals in her networks, and she will be interviewing them all at some point in the future. Enjoy your listening.
And welcome to the Pearls of Wisdom podcast. We are very lucky to have a really special person on as my guest today. I've known Tony almost coming up for a year now, and we touch base every now and again. He really knows his stuff. When I approached him and said, would he be a guest on the podcast, I was so grateful, so happy that he'd said yes. So without further ado, I would like to introduce you to Tony K. Silver, who is a LinkedIn profiler. Hello and welcome, Tony.
Good afternoon. Yes, it's about a year, isn't it? It's amazing how time flies. But yeah, more than happy. I love doing podcasts, and I just think it's a great medium, and certainly during the current situation, it's a great way of getting to talk to people.
Definitely. Couldn't agree more. And I am so grateful, like I said, to actually hear your pearls of wisdom that you can share from this. So I'm going to jump into the first question, Tony. Can you describe your career path to date, please?
I would say it's kind of stereotypical. Very short start. I was an apprentice, mechanical engineering apprentice. I spent many of my sort of 20s and 30s in that sort of world. I moved departments from production-based to more customer service-based. I lost my job a few times along the way. A lot of people did. But the real major turning point was probably 2008, where at the tender age of 48, believe it or not, I was, again, made redundant, but I had not got a clue how you found employment. And bottom line, I found an executive job club who told me that I needed to use LinkedIn and I needed to go networking. Well, I was on LinkedIn, have been since 2006, so hey, that's all right. No, you need to use it, Tony, not just be on it. Okay, right, fine. And networking, what's that? It transpired it's something that happened an awful lot. So I set off my journey of networking and using LinkedIn to look for a job. And I found myself employment through the Chamber of Commerce, which I thought was actually an ideal fit for me because I love talking to people. I love trying to help businesses. What better? And for 7 years, I was there, moving around different departments, really fell on my feet to a certain degree, but I think you create your own luck. Was sort of invited to work in the events department. So all of a sudden I am now being paid to network. And for me, that was absolutely horrible, as you can well imagine. No, I loved it. And I was doing up to 120 events a year for the Chamber of Commerce, from anything from your local hotel through to Windsor Castle. And I got to grow my LinkedIn connections massively with people from Microsoft, Dell, O2 and the like, because we have a lot of head offices based in the Thames Valley and lots of members. So that was really great. But I think it was a comment my wife made, that you've got all these wonderful connections, all seem to really like what you do and are great friends with you. You need to monetize it. And yeah, she was right. Not that I pay much attention to her because I'm a bloke. Yes, it was forced upon me because the CEO passed away. The new guy come in, we never got on. He made my position redundant, moved me to another department, which was never going to last, and it didn't. I then actually met someone who I'll mention later on one of your other questions, who said to me, Tony, you look a pile of fill in the own words you want to there. You need to get out before they kill you. And we then put together a program that I could start my own business, which I did in April 2018. Solid Silver Solutions was born. LinkedIn Profiler was the title. And that, again, was because it had to be niche, because there are other LinkedIn people out there, believe it or not. And that's what I've been doing for the last 2.5 years. And it's just progressed and continued to grow my network, continue to add different strings to my bow. Currently I'm looking at doing voiceover work for 2021. So yeah, there's always opportunities out there. And but I'm probably like a lot of people. I've jumped from the corporate world, gone into self-employment, and again, like a lot of people that get past those first couple of sticky years, I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I know to the listeners, I know I say this with a lot of my guests, but make sure you've got pen and paper ready, because this man knows his stuff. We regularly catch up, as I say. I don't think there's anything about LinkedIn that Tony doesn't know. It's just brilliant. It's lovely to hear that background and to see and to follow on from that. Can you name 3 things that made you choose your current career and why? You might have touched on some of that in your interview.
Yeah, so I probably slightly preempted the question because she's given me the questions in advance. I know them. But yeah, I mean, we have to make these things flow nicely. The freedom, because it's so nice not having a boss. Well, apart from the wife, but I mean, yeah, it is great, and you have the choice to do 12 or 13-hour days now rather than the 8 you had to when you were employed by someone else. It's great fun. But again, I so much enjoy helping others, and it just means I can pick and choose who I help, and that is a massive thing for me. So that was one of the reasons. Again, I touched on it earlier. I wanted my wife to retire. She's been in teaching since she was at the school. She went away, got educated to be a teacher, and came back, and then worked in school ever since. She teaches 4 and 5-year-olds, so she spent most of her life kneeling down. Her knees are not as good as they could be. And I said, look, I set up this company so you can retire at 60. And that is one of the major drivers behind my business, believe it or not.
And that is lovely. It really is. I mean, and also I can connect with that. My knees aren't as good as they used to, but mine is because I have a love of shoes, and I've worn silly great high heels that us women do, which has completely messed up my knees. So I can relate in that respect as well. I will now move on and ask you, what key values does your business offer you?
Honesty. It's everyone should be honest. I try and be authentic and honest as I can in all my transactions with people, and that's not always what they want to hear, because funny enough, I do use the word no, but I follow it up with another word, but. So if someone says to me, can you do this? And I go, no, but I can do this, or I can find someone that can do it for you. So honesty. The other trait is reputation, reliability. The 2 R's. We live and die by those, far more than bigger corporations do. My reputation is built up over 12 years in this area. It takes one silly mistake and that can come crashing down. And then, I want to be professional. So, even here today, we're on a Zoom call. I have professional lighting, a professional microphone and a professional camera, because I just want to come across as professional as I possibly can. So those are the values I think that the company brings to the big wide world, mainly based in the Thames Valley, but I do work all over the world.
And I couldn't agree more with that. I mean, I'm sat here because of doing the radio presenting. I've got quite an expensive microphone that I use, and as soon as I started using that, it's the quality, the actual sound quality people can hear. And like you say, Tony, when you're working for yourself and your name and brand is your reputation, and that's what keeps you going, you have to put, the good people, the people that you can really trust and work with, put that effort in. Those that don't put the effort in, it tends to show. And ultimately, we're our own brand, aren't we? We're the first thing through the door that everyone sees. So yes, couldn't agree with that more. I'm now going to move on. Now, this question I throw in just to see, jostle things up a bit, as it were. But Tony, what keeps you awake at night?
I had trouble with this question because I was getting a little bit glib. I'm going to say nothing, or the fact that I'm 60 and I need to go to the loo on a regular basis. But no, we won't go into that. It's a mixture of excitement, but I do suffer from anxiety. But it's a good anxiety, and it's one that is well worth having. That is the anxieties that I want to deliver. I don't want to let people down. So sometimes I am a little bit anxious, but I guarantee that, within half a second of me engaging, it's gone. It's like a workshop, and I know you run them. I can be running around like a mad ass fly before it, getting anxious about everything. As soon as I open my mouth to start the workshop, it's all gone away. I'm straight into professional mode, and I then really enjoy it and have a lot of fun with people. But yeah, so I suppose excitement on one hand, a touch of anxiety, but a good anxiety.
Yep. And this is where most of my guests reflect the same thing. This is why I'm so pleased the people that I've got on, because nearly everyone I've asked that question has said no, nothing necessarily keeps us awake. But I'd reflect exactly the same as you've said. It's when I'm excited, when I'm working on a new workshop or a new idea, that's what keeps me awake, because I can't fall asleep, because my mind's going constantly. And in the end, I've learned now, I just get up and I think, right, if I'm not going to sleep, if I can't switch off, I may as well put this to good use. And I get up and out comes the computer, which I know is not the best way to try and sleep, but it's so good to see. I can see why we're so aligned.
Well, actually, there is a sort of disparate there, because I've got pencil and paper. I don't have a computer on my bedside table.
But it's amazing. You think, right, yes, I'm going to sleep, I'm tired. And then as soon as your head touches the pillow, if you've got those ideas going through, that's it. That's when the quiet time, your mind starts to think, I can add that to it. I can add that to it.
Yeah, I've trained myself out of that, and it took a while to do. And it's writing everything down before, and then just having a close of play.
Yeah.
But then in the morning, I'm lucky that because I've run all those events in the Chamber of Commerce, getting up early became a way of life.
Yeah.
And I'm extremely creative early hours. That's when I wrote my book and everything. So I can get up and I'm straight at it. There's no lag at all. I can literally get up, take a dog for a walk, and I'm straight into it. So I'm very lucky in that respect. I know a lot of people do take a little bit of time to get going. No, I'm red hot from the minute I wake up.
But brilliant. You see, this is where we're so alike as well. I'm a morning person, and that's it. I have my routine, and that's it. And that's when I get my downloads and when I start to work. So again, it's so good to see. And we see that pattern through all the people that are driven, that are working for themselves. We've all got that oomph, that impetus to actually keep working and everything, which is, again, is great to see and to hear. Now, going back to the way you work, Tony, can you tell us where and how do you work best, so the listeners can see, because they could well become your clients and customers?
Well, I set up the company originally. I say this quite tongue-in-cheek, because I'm a little bit of a rascal, is that the business was always intended I could sit on a beach in Miami and do majority of my services and products from there. And so the COVID-19 and the shutdown hasn't really affected me. So my business is something that can be done remotely for the majority of the things I do. But my best work is done networking, pure and simple. I worked the other day, it's like 1,750 events I've done over the years, and I just love it. And it's helping people, it's getting people on a journey. I met a lady this morning that's got a great concept. It's right at the beginning of it, and I just couldn't stop giving her good advice, and I just love that. All right, I would love to have met her personally, but it was online. So I think networking is where I do my best work. That's where I start building relationships. That's where I give out. So this morning, and I'll give some tips to people here, just intercede into the proceedings. There's 3 things I spoke to them about this morning. Are you aware that actually on the LinkedIn app, they change the size of your profile picture? They didn't bother to tell you. But all of a sudden, that lovely banner you got across the back, which looks nice on your laptop, doesn't look so nice anymore on the app, because your head's covering up half of it. Have a look at it. It might be something you need to adjust. And then the headline, one of the most important parts of LinkedIn, changed it to 220 characters recently. Again, didn't tell anyone about it, but it gives you a great opportunity to stop having your job title in there and have something far more interesting, like what it is you can do for me, the viewer. And then finally, something that they reinstated is, a lot of people said, company page on LinkedIn, that you can now actually see who's following your company page. They reinstated that after about 18 months of not being able to. So they are 3 up-to-date little tips, well worth looking at on LinkedIn.
Yep, definitely. And yes, everything you've said there, it's made me stop and think, because yes, when I work from the tablet and I do a lot of work from the LinkedIn app, and I'm going to have to see on the phone and whether I do need to change that border picture, that headline picture, and just to see with that. So thank you for that. And to move on now, again, it might be something again that the listeners can hear and learn from you. What tools do you use that makes your work life easier?
Well, the biggest tool obviously is LinkedIn. That's 14 years of training and practicing using it. But this thing we're using, this Zoom thing, which obviously is very big news. It's been around a while, actually. And I've been using it for a couple of years, and it has given me the ability to have clients all over the world, because I haven't physically got to sit next to them to do the training with them. We can do it on Zoom. So I embrace, even though I'm an old fogey, I do embrace technology. So Zoom most definitely, and virtually everything else is around LinkedIn. Things come, things go. I do like some of these little Chrome extensions you can get for video work. So I use a product called Vidyard, which is Vidyard. Just installs on Chrome, and it allows you to do little short videos. You can share the screen and everything. So I'd use it a lot in some of my dealings with clients. When they say, Tony, I'm not too sure what you meant by that, or what LinkedIn done here, I just do a little short video and send it to them. And so, that's a lovely little tool as well. So it's well worth looking at.
And these are things that really do help. I mean, I know with the Zoom side, that's how we first connected. And like we said, that was getting on for a year ago now. And you can use so many things, and you get that face-to-face interaction, which really does help. So,
I mean, meeting in person would be great, the best way. But this is as good as it gets. Stop emailing people, Zoom call them. It's far better. You get more out of it.
Yeah, you can see the body language, and you know if the language that you're using has landed properly. With an email, 9 times out of 10, people haven't even got time to read it, and at least where you actually have that Zoom call where you can do the face-to-face, it's far more personal, and you build up that relationship. Like you said, it's one of the best ways to go, I think.
And the other thing is, one of the NLP major parts is that, the meaning of any message and communication is how it's received.
Yeah.
Now, if it's just written word, someone puts an exclamation mark at the end of a sentence, I don't quite know what they mean by that, because it can mean good or bad. So, pick up the phone, talk to them, but better still, Zoom them. Have a look at their eyes.
Yeah. Yes, definitely. Love that. Absolutely love that. Now, I'm going to go to the next one. This is where the listener starts to get to know about Tony. Now, Tony, what would you have done differently in your life if you'd known then what you know now?
There's two things. Funny enough, it's come out the other day, and I was someone was asking me about my history, so I was going through it. And I work for a company that's made interiors for planes. And we had the lovely gentlemen come over from Boeing, and they offered me to go back over and work in America. Bad timing. I just met my to-be wife, I'm still married to 25 years later. So it wasn't the right time. But in business, I'd love to have seen what would have happened if I'd done that. But the other thing is I needed to have jumped into doing what I'm doing now earlier. In hindsight, it's very, very difficult to make a decision like that. But believe me, everyone listening, outside your comfort zone is where it's at.
Yeah.
Don't sit in that bubble. Get outside. There's so much opportunity out there. It's scary. Get some support. Get a mentor. Get a coach. Get a group of people around you. My God, it's fun.
Yeah. Couldn't agree more. Now, that is what I'm teaching half the time with my radio show. I'm actually doing bits of business coaching, and I'm adding the spiritual side. So I'm talking about law of attraction. But everything you've said there is now, Tony, that I do contracting work. And so I have to hit the ground running and go in to large corporates. And 9 times out of 10, because we work with social media, and people will look at me and think, well, I'm a couple of years older than the person they expect to do social media. But then I say, yes, but I've got the business acumen. You and I both, what we bring to the social media arena is something that a lot of the younger people have yet to have, is that business acumen, that business experience. So although, yes, I agree with you, I think, yes, wish I'd done certain things slightly earlier. On the plus side, we've got that experience and that's what we bring, so we can help our clients move forward at such a rate of knots, and that's where our business acumen and experience helps us.
Yeah, you can't buy experience at the end of the day. There is ageism in this country. I don't care if it upsets people. If you find yourself out at work in your 50s, but you've got so much experience, and I just think people look at the wrong way around. And yeah, we're both proof. You can learn new tricks as old people. I'm down with the kids. I understand social media. LinkedIn, all this is something I had to learn. I'm still learning new things now. No.
Yeah, totally.
Experience counts for an awful lot.
It does. And like you say, and I'm so glad to hear you say about the ageism thing, because people don't always call it out. And I'm finding it's, especially in the corporate world, when I do the contracting, it's the younger people that are threatened by my knowledge, and that's when they play the ageism card. They say they aren't, but yes, you and I know that they do. So it is good that you're confirming something that we both already know. So I'm sorry, carry on.
Yeah, I am known for having an opinion and not being scared to voice it, but I think what's the point in not?
Yeah.
Not everyone's going to agree with you, but it's fine.
But that's the whole idea of almost niching down, isn't it? But your niche, those people that connect with you, they're the ones that are going to be your tribe and move forward when we're talking the social media thing. And it's people that connect with us and what we offer. So yes, definitely. And so from that, maybe this is a nice jump to the next question. What is your biggest challenge and why?
My biggest challenge is, I'm going to be really boring and say COVID-19, but it's other people's reaction to it, not mine. I've taken it as a massive opportunity. Yeah. But what I find is that a lot of people have almost been paralyzed by fear, and fear of the unknown is a difficult one. But I look at it as that, it is definitely going to be different. There's this new normality that everyone keeps talking about. But let's get prepared for it. Let's get ready for it. Let's not just sit in our shells and let it hit us. Let's attack it. Yeah. So my biggest fear is that it is paralysing people, and therefore, we had a little chat before we did. It is stopping people making decisions that they should be making. Yeah. And my fear is that my workflow shouldn't be what it is, because people are not making decisions when actually it's, if they looked at it with a really clear sight, they go, actually, let's get on and do it.
Yeah, that I would completely agree with. Because yes, I hit COVID. The first few weeks, I was scared because I was watching the news. I was glued to the news, which was the biggest mistake possible. And then I suddenly sat there and I thought, no, come on, give yourself a shake. I work with digital communications, which is what everyone is turning to. And the amount of calls in the last 2-3 weeks from recruiters saying, we need your skills, coming out of COVID, I think my potential for growth for my business is out of this world. But then they're still saying it's going to be September time before they start looking at the budgets. But it's people being brave enough to know that they suddenly want to have their summer holidays, because sitting at home although it's a holiday, it's not the same as getting away. So everyone will still want to take their holidays. And then I think yours and mine experience and what we work in, I think that is going to be what everyone wants going forward, because they've realised, the larger corporates have realised this is the way to work. And we've got the experience and the know-how and the knowledge to help people to actually grow in this area.
Absolutely. Yeah, totally.
I'm now going to move to the next question. Now, I have been pulled up on this and I've been told that it uses the ego a lot. So I apologise with that. No, I don't apologise, because it's getting to know we're getting to know you, Tony, you the person. So how do you want to be remembered?
I just want to be remembered as that really, really nice guy that helped out. And I know that's really shallow, pathetic and all that, but ultimately that's what I do. I help people. And, you know, it's the fact that my reputation that I have for helping and for always being there and always coming up to the plate, etc. And I just like it. I love it when people say, "Oh, I have heard about you," and you kind of know it's actually going to be positive because you know that's the vibe we're putting out there. So, yeah, the guy that you know selflessly helped other people, because sometimes, yeah, I this morning I'd given out massive amount of advice. You know, a business consultant may have charged quite a bit of money for, but I just didn't see that it was the right thing to do. Will that lady remember me? Well, within half an hour, she was already saying at the end of that meeting, I'd like to give big thanks to Tony K. Silver for the advice he gave me earlier, and I shall be acting upon it and talking to him very soon. Brilliant. That's lovely. That's what I want to remember for. That sort of warm, glowing, hand-holding, what a nice guy. It sounds a bit pathetic, but hey, that's what I want to be.
But that's what's already happening. That's the way I see you. Like I said, we've connected and we've stayed in touch. And you don't do that with everyone. There's lots of people I've spoken to, and I can probably say on my two hands, there's 10 people that I stay in touch with, and you're one of them. And for just that reason that you've just shared, because I know I can share with you, you're sincere, you know your stuff. And they're the people we want to work with. You don't want people that are going to do the backstabbing and just want to know your information so that they can ride roughshod over you, because no one wants to work with people like that. So yes, thank you.
They don't last long.
No, this is very true. Very true. Now we're getting into your childhood a bit here. Now, Tony, as a child, what did you want to be, and how close to that dream are you now?
Well, this is the one question I'm going to disappoint everybody on, because I actually have a massively poor memory. I don't remember any part of my childhood whatsoever. My wife has seen photographs of me as a youngster, and I'm going, "Who's that?" And my mum's going, "That's you." Is it? I haven't got a clue. So I can't say that I wanted to be an astronaut and all that sort of thing. I know that pretty much at the age of 16, because I was asked this question the other day, what was your sort of work spreading out to the distance? But I became an apprentice. It was the thing to be done back in those days. So I suppose at the age of 16, I thought I was going to be a director of a manufacturing company. It was probably, and I got to own my own production company. So yeah, I met that, but that's in my past. And but no, I haven't got one of those little anecdotes about wanting to be, you know, the next Buzz Aldrin or anything like that, unfortunately. So yeah. Memory issues don't allow that.
But it's so good what you have achieved and everything. Like you said at the very beginning of this interview, where you shared your career path and everything, amount of stuff. Because as well, I'm going to ask you, because it might come on to that slightly later, but I am going to ask you now as well. You did mention you've written a book, or have you written books?
I've written 2 books. One, but again, they are business books. So the first one is about taking networking onto LinkedIn, and that purely is my philosophy, is that when I network with people, I take them onto LinkedIn. The second book, which is the one that sells more frequently, it's not an Amazon bestseller. It's a little book of LinkedIn, and it's a little, very thin little book. It's meant to be a workbook, and it really just contains all the good things that you should be doing on LinkedIn. And I have blank pages in there if you make notes. It's the sort of things you carry around in your briefcase and just dip into it as and when you need it. Having said that, with LinkedIn, I probably need to do a revised edition of it. So that's potentially my summer holiday now being converted into rewriting the book. But that's kind of where it's at on that.
Brilliant. Thank you. And that leads me. Now, this is my selfish passion, I'm afraid. This one question, I love books. I love reading. I just love consuming knowledge. So I always ask my guests, can you name 3 titles of your favourite books and why you've chosen them, please?
So Mr. Grumpy by Roger Hargreaves. No, that's me. No, business books. I am a great consumer of business books. I have also adopted Audible, so I'm now listening to them as well. Why not? Well, the one that I think a lot of people will have in their list as well is Stephen Covey's 7 Habits. It's a long time ago since I first read it. It is still massively relevant. It's still a book I would turn to and I advise people to read because it just does lay things out in such a brilliant way. Then we go into a bit of what I'm involved in. I study psychology and I use that sort of thing all the time. So Influence by Cialdini, Bob Cialdini, great, still around with us. Wrote a seminal book on influence, and used properly, it's a really great tool. But unfortunately, yes, you could misuse some of the things in there. But I use reciprocity. It took me ages to learn how to say that properly as well. Reciprocity, let's say it again. Because, like this morning, with that lady, I gave her a big slice of information. I don't expect anything to come back, but something might. And that's kind of what you do. So that's a really useful book. And then the other thing about being in business is having the right mindset, perhaps a growth mindset. So Carol Dweck's book on mindset, again, is for me is a seminal read. And again, that one I mention on a regular basis. If we were to zoom the camera over there, I have a bookcase of about 150 business books. I'm a massive consumer of them. But those 3 are the ones I would probably most readily come to mind. There are lots of other really good ones. So and a lot of them are written by people I know. Yeah. So if I missed you out, sorry about that.
Oh, this is brilliant. And of course, I'm loving that. And a lot of the titles you're sharing, yes, I know. I think once you get to a certain level with your business and with your learning, there are certain books that everyone has on their bookshelf. And I also
I want to add one more. Can I please?
Yeah.
I want to add an author that I do know. He is around. He's younger than me. Daniel Priestley. Key People of Influence, 24 Assets, Oversubscribed, and I can't remember the other one. Any of those books are really worth reading. I'm reading the revised Oversubscribed book, and it's a real pain because every time I read a chapter, it gives me something to do because it's still so relevant. And the fact that I can pick up the phone and speak to Daniel as well also helps.
Oh, you are so lucky with that. I mean, yes, I like my hard copy books, but I often have the same books on Audible or on Kindle, depending on where I'm travelling. I can pick up, though Kindle was quite a learning curve for me because I never thought I'd get away from the normal hard copy. But we work online, so yes, the digital versions are quite good, but you still can't beat that turning the page, can you?
No, absolutely not. No.
Oh, this is brilliant. I'm absolutely loving that. And there are a few of the books you've mentioned that are now going to be added to my library. And this is why I say this is my selfish bit that I had for the interview, so I can grow my library a bit. So again, you might have touched on this next question on when you were talking about the books, but who would you say are your key influencers and why?
Okay, so Daniel, most definitely, because he's real. I bet him. I can speak to him, and he's so relevant to the current digital era. Simon Sinek. I love all his stuff. I'm a great consumer of TED Talks, etc., and most of the things he puts out. And I do pre-order his books as well because I love his stuff. But then I'm going to throw someone in that people may not have heard of, and it's a gentleman called Warren Cass. Now, Warren Cass has actually written a book called Influence, and I did tell him off that it's already been done. But he's a gentleman that is the guy that set me on where I am today. He's the guy that told me I looked like a pile of back down in Swindon back all those years ago. But he's the guy that helped me put everything together. And if I hadn't had Warren in my life, I probably wouldn't be where I am today. So he's probably one of the biggest influences. He's still around there. He's a lot younger than me. He's out there as a professional speaker and a thought leader. He's another same sort of value to me. He's a great giver. As I say, he gave me lots and lots of knowledge. And yeah, he's again a guy I can pick up the phone to and discuss things with. So that is for me someone that, yes, definitely is my main influence.
Brilliant, brilliant. And again, where you and I are discussing, I can see your answers. This is why we get on so well, because we could be the other way round and you could be asking me and I'd be giving very similar answers. This is why we connect so well. I'm now going to move on. This is my longest question, so I have to take a great big deep breath when I say this one. Now, if you could share a great meal with anyone, alive or dead, what would the meal be and who would it be with?
Second point first, Morgan Freeman. Quite simply, I can sit and listen to him read the telephone book. I'm a great, because of my voice, I love people with good voices. I've never seen him in a bad film. I listen to him on interviews and that, and his voice is just it's fantastic. So I'd love to sit and have a discussion with him. Meal-wise, I'm a bit of a curry man. It's, I could say steak and chips, but I suppose really, a real good authentic curry would probably be my ideal sort of meal, with about 25 different dishes. So it's a little bit of everything rather than just one main thing. But Morgan Freeman, it's not business related, but yes, I mean, his business is his voice, and to me, it is right at the top of the tree, and I just love listening to him. So just listening to the answers he gives, it would be absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, and now I'm going to give you saying that. I'm going to ask you now. Normally, I ask my guests, but off camera, off recording. But you've given so many wonderful responses, and just that. Can I invite you back for another interview, please, Tony? Because
absolutely, yeah.
Just
there's loads more where this came from, I tell you.
It's lovely because, I mean, just to hear what you about Morgan Freeman and the ideas, and just where you talk about the language and the speech, that's a whole podcast in itself, because teaching people how to use their voice and how to engage with their customers, with their client, with their audience, and everything you've shared on this is pure magic. It really is. For you to mention when you said about lots of dishes with curries and everything, I mean, that's my idea of heaven, to actually sit round a table, good food, good conversation, and that you could do a podcast every month just on a different meal and a different topic, and have, say, key intellectual people there, and what would they say? That would be brilliant. So anyone listening, we're both up for this. You could actually make that as a whole series.
Any sponsors out there, we're willing to run this for you.
Geez, now it's just, I can't believe the time has just shot past, and these answers, we've learned so much. What I'm going to do, the last two questions, I'm going to pull them together because I think they complement each other. And this is the bit that the listeners, you take your pen and paper, but don't worry, I will also add this to the description. But Tony, this is where I ask, what services or items do you offer to your clients or customers? And also, do you have any special offers at present?
Okay, yes. So this is the promotional bit. We should be doing an 80s promotional voice for this one. Pop Pickard, we're here today. So I'm a LinkedIn profiler. What that actually means, it means that I look at LinkedIn's profiles of people, and there are 12 key areas within that profile. I then put together a report for them, which shows where they are. And I'm a little bit brutal sometimes, but I think honesty is the best policy. But I show them where they need to be and how to get there. When I first started the business, that was my core product. I got great reviews for it, but unfortunately people weren't implementing it. So nowadays it comes with a 90-minute implementation session with me. So you actually get all my knowledge, and you also get a very nice LinkedIn profile at the end that doesn't just look pretty, it actually gains clients, because you're gone from being anonymous to being highly visible. And as long as you follow what I teach you, then you will remain that way. So that is the core product. But I run workshops on it. Now, those are two distinct types. I do in-house for companies, which is often the case where I'm working on a one-to-one basis with the senior partners, and I think they get me into work with their client-facing teams. And I've just I just took up residency at Ascot Racecourse about 2 months before COVID started. So I have access to Ascot Racecourse, which is obviously a world famous venue. I have a meeting room there, and I will be running workshops there. Public speaking, yeah, I'll go up on stage and talk, not a problem there. Podcasts, yeah, now and again, I like a good podcast. Up here on webinars. And yes, the voiceover work is also coming along nicely. So it's a mixture, but the core thing is LinkedIn. It is that 14 years of knowledge. It is turning people from going, I don't quite know what to do. Where do I start? So is your CV just like an online CV or LinkedIn profile, just gathering dust? You don't quite know what to do with it. Yeah, well, I can demystify it, and I can hold your hand with a process that gets it out to the other end, where you're going, actually, we're getting leads from LinkedIn, and we're actually converting them because people are finding us and they're liking what they see, which gives me a nice warm glow, because I offer a nice, big, fat, 100% money-back guarantee. Money still in my pocket. No one's ever even been close to taking it out of my pockets. So what I can offer now is that I actually have a 5-day challenge, which is completely free. It is literally to make you think. So there are 5 distinct things you need to do over 5 days. They haven't got to be consecutive days. And then you get bonus day 6, which is talking to me. So there's a downside to it as well, unfortunately, but who cares? But you don't have to take the day 6 if you don't want to. So yeah, I will pass on the link to Pearl so she can put it out there for you. But yes, that's my offer. Also on my website, which is www.solidsilversolutions.com, there's a downloadable free ebook, which is actually 10 mistakes you should avoid on LinkedIn. So yes, and by the way, you're probably making at least 5 of those as a minimum.
As in me, or as in the listener, or both?
If you want to take it on the chin, Pearl, I couldn't possibly say, but on average, most people are making these at least 5 of these mistakes, because the thing about LinkedIn, though it's brilliant, fantastic, makes me my living, their marketing of telling people what it can do apart from finding you a job, which is where they make all their money, is appalling. So people don't know what it can do. And realistically, therefore, I don't blame anyone for having a substandard profile, because they're not knowing any better. If they know better and they still was rubbish, then fine.
Yeah.
But most people don't know. They don't even know how to change the banner, and things like that. It's just simple little things. No one's ever shown them.
Yeah. Yeah. So it just leaves me to say, Tony, thank you. Thank you so much. It has been a pleasure. I've learned lots. Now, I thought I knew LinkedIn, but every time I talk to you, I learn more. It has been a pleasure. And to hear your background. And listeners, you've heard, Tony has agreed to come back, be a guest once again. So I ask you, make sure you subscribe, because if you're a subscriber to the podcast, as soon as a new episode goes up, you get that alert, so you know that you can come and listen and enjoy. So thank you, Tony. It has been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure for me. I've thoroughly enjoyed all use of my time. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Pearls of Wisdom podcast. We hope you have enjoyed the content shared. Please share with others who would like to enjoy these interviews and discussions. If you would like to support the podcast, please follow the link in the episode description. If you want to be a guest on the show, reach out and let's discuss next steps. Until the next time, enjoy your listening.